Good evening, guys. I hope you're having fun playing the game, especially if you pulled on the new unit that we got just today. I know I promised an Emperor run upload after my first clear of the stage today, but before uploading that, I thought of doing something different that I have been planning for quite a few days now, and I was waiting for Emperor to come out today before I release it. This is going to be my January 2020 tier list for the global version of Dissidia Final Fantasy over Omnia. This is only my opinion. Like many YouTubers say, I don't want you to take my word as gospel, but more like helpful guidelines if you're struggling to pick useful characters and whatnot. I'm gonna categorize them from the S tier down to C tier, which not many units were placed on the C tier, so don't worry, guys. Most of the units in this game right now in the Chaos era, they are really useful. Even the most even the bad ones, you can still use them, as you will see in a bit. Okay, we're gonna start with the S tier. These are the characters that, in my opinion, stand above the rest. Characters that you will most likely bring to any stage, regardless of strategy or synergy, as long as they are not heavily resisted or countered. First of them is gonna be best girl Tifa. In my opinion, the best physical attacker in the game for quite a while. Let's go over her abilities first. Her Beat Rush and Beat Rush Plus hits for so much thanks to her fever time buff that she gets from her EX, making her hits almost guaranteed critical even if the boss is not broken. Her battle cry will almost cap Tifa's Brave whenever you use it, and it's mostly used to charge and time your Dolphin Blow when you need it, since battle cry does not increase the turn count and it has an instant turn rate, exactly like Shailaja's Light of the Crystal or Rinoa's Angel Wing. Tifa's utility comes in the form of one turn delay and a guaranteed launch, all in one whenever you use her amazing EX skill. Please note that the damage from the first part of her EX, which is basically a beat rush but doesn't count as one, is also multiplied with the launch. Pair Tifa with a strong battery and she will last you forever thanks to her amazing HP++ and her 665, which has 3 uses and recovers 1 skill use of her beat rush every time, which is outrageous. Her only weakness, in my opinion, is having 0 AoE capabilities, which will not be that noticeable for quite some time. The second unit on this list, and I'm pretty sure no one is gonna be surprised by this, is our Time Queen, Ultimecia, which, in my opinion, is the most turn-efficient unit in the game right now, as she gets 3 free turns from her EX whenever you press the button, accompanied by a free skill use. Her damage is actually starting to fall off a bit, but the arrival of Rosa changes that. At the start of the stage, she needs a while to get going. Ultimecia's impact in the game begins the first time you press her EX ability. Before that, she's just an HP++ bot, but the wait is more than worth it. You can do some crazy stuff with her, like looping the bosses in a constant state of her EX. Her weakness, like I mentioned earlier, is her damage falling off, especially in the last couple of minutes in a stage, when the boss's defense stats skyrocket. Pair her with an aura bot or someone with a strong C65 aura and you will get insane value out of her. Like Tifa, she loves to be paired with a battery and someone who can provide an above average initial Brave boost for the party. More on that in a bit. The third character on my S tier is gonna be Yeast Olaf. It is crazy how Yeast Olaf went from being a crabby character to this powerhouse. With an EX charge at the start of the stage and an instant turn rate without increasing the turn count, you want to be pushing the button whenever it's available, with just a very few exceptions depending on your situation that will not come up very often. Having access to her EX at the start of the stage means she also gets access to her HP++, which is an amazing filler battery when you don't want to use your stone. Medica 2 remains the best battery skill during a summon phase, allowing your other two units to deal insane amounts of damage, giving you an alternative to using HP++. Her Stone Plus is amazing, having a high turn rate, allowing Yeast Olaf to sometimes play immediately after taking her turn, or change stones to push back any potential threat. Yeast Olaf's Medica into Tifa EX combo is the most damage you can do in a single target, and it makes these two unit combinations stand out from the rest, which is why they both deserve an S tier spot in my opinion, even after the arrival of the likes of Rosa and a certain trap specialists. More of that in a bit. Speaking of Tifa, Yeast Olaf shares the same weakness with her, having no AoE skills. But let's be real guys, she does too much already. Giving her AoE skills would have been just too broken. The next character is right up above Yeast Olaf, which is Sarah, our Final Fantasy XIII pink-haired, our Final Fantasy XIII another pink-haired lady. Sarah has been one of the few units who have been very useful in the Chaos stage, even before her EX realization. She is one of the cursed artifact units, and I would say you want at least 2 out of 3 perfect artifacts for her, since her own Max Brave is lacking and she needs her charged Moonlight boost at least twice to make up for her awful Max Brave. I've seen people who take charged Moonlight boost over all debuff attack boost, which is a mistake in my opinion, since all debuff attack boost affects the whole team, which in the long run will have more value for you. With the addition of her HP++, she gets a nice filler ability that also batteries the party when you don't want to use her skills. But when you do use her skills, she will definitely deal tons of damage, even for a support standard. Her first skill has splash damage with amazing debuffs and a decent battery, and her second skill, even though doesn't hit as hard since it's evenly shared damage, is one of the most amazing batteries in the game while you're dealing damage. Lastly, her EX skill now hits harder, gets overflow, and it's a 100% AoE damage to everyone. Let's not forget about her amazing C65 aura, which increases the overflow limit for the whole team for 5 turns. Pair up Sarah with Ultimecia and you will not regret it. The next character is gonna be Shailaja. After the release of Rosa and Emperor, I was really struggling with Shailaja on whether I should put her on S or A tier, but at the moment I think she's borderline S. She's basically the highest A tier character we could have, so I'm putting her on the S tier just to avoid any confusions, because she's certainly better than most A tier characters we're gonna see in a bit. She is the only X plus, non-X plus character that made it into the S tier of my list. If you manage to get Shailaja's kit back during her release, then you will know what I'm talking about. Her biggest strength comes from her EX buff, which gives the whole team 20% more HP damage for 4 turns. Her first skill, called Light of the Crystal, is an instant turn rate skill which doesn't increase the turn count, similar to Tifa's battle cry as mentioned earlier. She gets 8 uses of it, which makes it very versatile, meaning she can either use it to simply batter the party or stall for her EX to come back up. Her second skill became infamous in the DFFOO community ever since her release in the JP version. She basically takes the current brave of every team member, including herself, and deals it as HP damage, which is evenly shared among all enemy units, while depleting only her own brave. I always find it more enjoyable to use it when there is only one boss and see all those big numbers hit the screen. Shailaja's utility along with her turn efficiency can lead to some really high scores in any team she's in. She's starting to fall off because of her own low max brave, but her strength is mostly relied on her allies, which is why she's still holding up 3 months after her release in the global version. The last 2 characters on the S tier are gonna be no surprise to anyone. The first of them being Rosa. Let me find her here. The recent addition of Rosa and her EX Plus in our roster changes the game quite a bit. She has been an aura bot since her initial event, but now she gets more options to play with. I'm gonna be honest with you guys, I'm really disappointed by her Brave Plus, and I am mildly disappointed by her HP++. 20% battery based on the damage dealt is kind of low compared to the likes of Sarah and Yeast Olaf's HP++. I know we haven't gone over the amount of stats and auras the previous supports on this tier offer to the party, but Rosa definitely deserves a rundown of them because there are just so many. Here it goes. Rosa provides to the party 85% more attack, 60% more max brave, 75% more initial brave, a brave regen based on 80% of their initial brave, which is boosted by Rosa, and an average HP regen, which is always nice. Last but not least of the things she provides is the 20% more overflow from her EX frame buff, which can go up to 30% with her 65 skill. Her EX has splash damage now, which makes her have some AoE capabilities. Aura bots have the power to breathe in new life to units who are starting to struggle to remain relevant. I am looking at you, Ultimecia. And now we're down to our last S tier unit, which is gonna be today's release, Emperor. Our latest global resident makes other characters' damage per turn feels like child's play. If you could only describe Emperor with just 2 words, those words would be Ultimecia 2.0, because even though he doesn't get her free turns, large of the portion of the damage he deals is not even on his own turn. His gimmick is his traps in the form of frame debuffs on the enemy, which are able to deal really high amounts of damage whenever they go off after an enemy's turn. He's also able to cripple the enemy in the form of stacking defend down debuffs that his traps carry, as well as speed down from 2 of his traps, and a Genova-like aura like Sephiroth's, which lowers all enemy speed while they can't do anything about it. To top it all off, his EX specific trap, which will also delay the target by 1 turn whenever it goes off, giving him another form of crowd control. Emperor can single-handedly carry your team's needs of damage per turn without the second damage dealer in the party, allowing you to run 2 supports and building your team around his traps by giving him more firepower through buffs and auras. His only weak point I can think of right now is his really mediocre HP++, which you may have to use as a filler in longer fights. Now let's go down to the A tier. The A tier, I will not go into much detail for units below the S tier because the video would be too long, but I will give you a rundown of who I believe are great units and why. Warrior of Light, a still really solid unit. Let me find him here. His shields are starting to fall off unless you pair him with someone like Rosa, but if you do, you will find that you are lacking some damage in your team. He can carry your team in dangerous AoE Brave plus HP boss attacks like in the recent tier 3 entropy stage, and his high skill count makes him last a lot in any stage. Cloud. Here's my problem with Cloud, guys. Even though he's still a hell of a strong unit with an above average utility, my problem is that I wanna use his EX every other turn, like most of you probably want too. But to do that, you need to use a skill after every EX turn, which makes him run out of skills rather fast. Pressing HP++ with Cloud is never a nice feeling for me. Agrius. She provides a lot to any team, has good utility, and most of her skills are AoE. What else could you want? My girl does too much already. Real talk though, she's what you would call an HP++ bot because her skill count is really low. Her utility alone will keep her from being unusable for some time. She makes for a great friend support unit. Setzer. Pretty much the same with Agrius. He provides a lot to the party, has low skill count, and he will remain a very strong unit for a very long time, as well as an amazing threat support unit. Rem's rework and her EX Plus just gave her more on what she was already doing well, manipulating turns, which is now a free turn, and more damage with overflow on her 100% AoE damage EX. She provides one of the biggest max brave buffs in the game, along with a speed buff which is rare even to this day, and a mild HP regen. Balthier. His previous rework was great, but his EX Plus makes him incredible. He can cheese some hard fights for you, and he's one of the few units who can steal buffs from an enemy, which will make him an ace card at certain situations for anyone who has him built up. Squall. Square Enix's poster boy reserve when Cloud is not interested, I guess. His EX Plus and rework makes him do what you're used to see him do, but well, he's better at it. More damage with his skill like a selfish DPS unit does, but not utility whatsoever though. Ace hits hard and fast. He just needs a little bit to get going because he needs his full stacks of Suzagu's trump card to be at his full potential. Provides some nice party auras with his EX, but with some RNG involved. His AoE damage capabilities makes him a great magic DPS unit, and he has a great HP++ for a filler skill, which I'm a big fan of his HP attack. Vanille, one of the best debuffers in the game. Her rework makes her EX faster, meaning it will charge every other turn if you're spamming her skill, much like Cloud, but unlike Cloud, you are happy to use her HP++ whenever you want because she will batter your party with it. I'm not a fan of her assassination debuff because it doesn't have an HP attack placed on it, but it's better than nothing for sure. With both skills hitting hard and battering the party while one of them debuffs and the other dispels, she's a very versatile support unit. Feelin. His EX Plus gives him almost exactly the same treatment with Tidus EX Plus, but here's where they are different. Feelin is not as speedy as Tidus, which sometimes is a bad thing, and he's not as selfish either. He provides some nice auras for the party. He's self-sustained and with a 100% AoE damage EX that now has overflow and a great C65 skill, he's a great all-around unit. And he fits in almost any team. I should say that too. The last on the A tier list, in my opinion, is gonna be Barret. Barret remains the aura monster that he was on his initial release, but with his EX Plus, he can now shave like a madman. He's not the aura bot god like Rosa, but he makes up for it with AoE and single target damage for days. We're gonna go down to the B tier now. For this tier, I'm gonna go over the reasons why I think these units are not deserving a tier A spot. I'm not saying they are not good units, they are just not as good as the previous ones, in my opinion. Pyrus. You guys know I love Pyrus. I have her maxed out, but she does have her problems. Dispelling and debuffing all enemy units in just one action is great, but her damage potential is low and her EX, which hits really hard, is rather slow. She's still a great dispeller though. Tidus. He's speedy, his EX hits everyone for maximum damage, but he's running out of skills too fast if you want him to keep up with the damage required in Chaos. Also, he relies too much on the target being debuffed, which I'm not a big fan of. Lilith. She still suffers from being a weak shaver and her skill count is rather low, making her, in my opinion, another HP++ bot. Also, her one buff and her debuffs are both bound to one skill, which means if either of those two run out, you gotta press the skill again or wait for both of them to be in need of refreshing. Which is, it's always awkward with Lilith, guys. Van. I am a big fan of Van. I have him maxed out, every weapon passive on. The only reason he's not in A tier is because of his many elemental attributes. He's the unit with the potential of doing the most damage in a single turn without that involving an EX skill, but in Chaos you will encounter a lot of resistances and absorbs. I forgot, yeah, there he is. Noel. He doesn't have his EX Plus yet, but his ridiculously high attack, his delays, his aura, and his amazing EX makes him chaos variable, sometimes more than a few EX Plus units. Ramza. The free turn god, another non-EX Plus unit. He needs a while to get going, which is why he's not higher in this list. Pair him with an initial brave buff or aura unit and his damage will be more than enough. As we go further into Chaos, though, his buffs are starting to fall off before the fights are over, which is his greatest weakness in my opinion. Deuce. A great offensive support with a very nice 665 skill and buffs. Her damage is kind of low and she has no healing capabilities, which is why you will need to run another support with her. Yuna. Amazing EX Plus, but her skills have high turn rate, which is bad for her case. She can't dump Brave with either of her base skills, and to make things worse, she needs her cursed artifacts to be at full potential. Cryle. Cryle provides a lot to any team with her rework and her EX Plus. Her damage starts to fall off, especially in later stages of the fight. Sadly for Kuja, Ultimecia, Ace and now Emperor are in the game. His skill count is really low and his HP plus just sucks. He's not at C tier because he deals a lot of damage and that's his only saving grace. Locke. A jack of all trades and master of none, well, excepting debuffing I guess. Locke is borderline A tier I think, and I really struggled as to where I should place him cause he's really good. Sabin's rework comes with a bang and his EX Plus brings back Final Fantasy VI memories. He can imperil both of his elemental attributes, but his falling grace is his stacking mechanic though, and let's not forget that we still don't have the elemental weakness change that the JP version has, which makes him even weaker in my opinion. Celes, a niche tank that can actually deal a pretty good amount of damage now that because her EX charges fast, she can trivialize some fights for you. Pash, another niche tank. He's the tankiest tank of them all, but his damage is really lacking even for a tank standards. Garland, somewhat low skill count and his HP plus is nothing special. His X skill is a 4-part damaging skill, but only the last 2 parts are actually doing enough damage. He gets fixed later on though, so don't worry guys if you're a fan of him. Kimari, our latest blue mage, arrived with a heavily loaded kit, which I'm a really fan of. I like him a lot, but his potencies are really low for chaos standards. You can cheese some fights with him though. Lisa, I don't know how to pronounce this one. I really like her kit. She does a lot and she can last you for a long in a fight, but she suffers from the stacking mechanic fate that Sabin does as well, meaning she will not be at 100% power at all times in the fight. Machina, nice single target damage unit, no AoE capabilities whatsoever. His counter is rather weak. Like Garland, he gets fixed later on. Last unit on the B tier is gonna be Kate Sith. Kate Sith is like the jack of all trades of supports. He does pretty much everything except debuffing, but he's average at it. His EX potency is locked behind RNG, which is never nice. Finally going down to the C tier guys. These are the units that are either outdated or in my opinion drew the short straw when it came to EX and reworks distribution from Square Enix. I will not go over them individually, but I will give you a list of who I think can still be used in Chaos, but you will almost always find a better option than them. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'm trying to do something different than what I'm usually doing. If you like this tier list or if you like this type of video, let me know in the comment section down below, and I'll try to update these every month or so. If you share a different opinion than me in some of the units on this list, just tell me in the comments below, but let's try to keep it civil. Like I said in the beginning of the video, these are just my own opinions. I'll try to be as unbiased as I could. And yeah, like, share and subscribe if you like my content. And I'll see you guys in the next video, hopefully with Emperor in it. Take care guys. Bye bye.